This evening, first up, airport scandal. Several police officers at Cheddi Jagan International Airport are under close arrest, accused of exploiting a passenger. The government's swift response? Body cameras for all law enforcement at ports of entry. Plus, road tragedy. A young motorcyclist is dead and 2 others injured in Berbice after a high-speed crash. What police are saying about unlicensed riding and the dangers of ignoring safety laws. Also, 1 year later, still no answers. Family and friends of missing man Joshua Briggs David hold a vigil, pressing for justice after his shocking abduction outside a Georgetown restaurant. Meanwhile, strike over. Bosai bauxite workers returned to the job after a deal brokered by the Ministry of Labour. What's in the agreement that ended the standoff? And tragedy in India, at least 39 people crushed to death at a rally for actor-turned-politician Vijay. What sparked the deadly chaos? Those stories and more coming up on Headline News Update. Stay with us. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for September 29, 2025. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, the Ghana Police Force has confirmed that several officers stationed at the Cheddi Jagan International Airport are under close arrest following allegations of extortion. According to the Ghana Police Force, the ranks allegedly demanded money from a passenger in order to release her lawful items. In a statement issued on Sunday, the Ghana Police Force disclosed that the allegations is supported by CCTV footage and other evidence. The Office of Professional Responsibility has launched a full investigation, and the implicated officers will remain under close arrest pending the outcome. The incident has prompted swift action from the government of Guyana, which announced new measures to strengthen accountability and transparency across all ports of entry. Effective today, all law enforcement officers operating at airports, seaports, and border crossings will be required to wear body cameras while on duty. This initiative aims to provide an additional layer of oversight and deter misconduct among security personnel. The Ghana Police Force maintains a zero-tolerance approach to corruption, the statement emphasized, warning that any officer found guilty of extortion or bribery will face the full force of the law. The Ghana Police Force also reminded the public that no payment of any kind is required to clear lawful items through the Cheddi Jagan International Airport or any other port of entry. Authorities are urging travelers and citizens to report immediately to the nearest police authority if approached for money under such circumstances. This latest scandal serves as a sobering reminder that dirty cops do not only betray their oath, but also erode public trust in the very institutions meant to protect and serve. The Ghana Police Force's decisive response and the government's move to mandate body cameras mark critical steps towards restoring accountability. But lasting change will require vigilance, strict enforcement, and the courage of citizens to speak out. On a different note, a young motorcyclist has lost his life, and 2 pillion riders are receiving treatment following a fatal accident on Sunday, September 28, along the number 68 Village Public Road in Curtin, Berbice. Dead is 23-year-old Eric Kisoon of number 72 Village, who was riding motorcycle CN 7562 with a 13-year-old male student and a 28-year-old man as passengers. Both pillion riders remain hospitalized in serious condition. Police said Kisoon, who was unlicensed and riding without a helmet, was heading south at a fast rate when he lost control while negotiating a bend at the number 68 Village. The motorcycle slammed into a bridge rail on the eastern side of the road. All 3 victims suffered multiple injuries and were taken to the number 75 Regional Hospital, where Kisoon, found unconscious, succumbed while receiving treatment. His body is at the hospital's mortuary awaiting a post-mortem examination. Investigators confirmed that neither Kisoon nor his passengers were wearing safety helmets at the time of the crash. Police are continuing their investigations. The police are also urging all road users to observe traffic laws, wear proper protective gear, and exercise caution, emphasizing that adherence to these safety measures is crucial in preventing future tragedies on the nation's roadways. In other news, the family and friends of Joshua David, known as Briggs, gathered on Main Street, Georgetown on Friday evening for a vigil in his honor as the search for the young man continues 1 year after his abduction. David was abducted on September 26, 2024, outside a new drive-in restaurant on Main Street, Georgetown.
What we want, man? Justice. What do we want? Justice. We sisters and we brothers, what do we want? Justice. We want justice, man. That's all we want. Not more, not less. Justice we want. That's all we asking for, man. That's all we asking for. Not more, nothing less. That's all we asking for. We are Guyanese. We are one, man. Nobody above nobody there. And that's all we ask for our brother, our nephew, our son, our uncle.
The incident occurred as David was purchasing food and a video captured 5 men forcibly pushing him across the street as he attempted to resist. The footage was widely circulated, prompting public concern and police action. The young man's family is calling for justice as he remains missing.
Our beloved country, when a son or daughter go there, I feel expect them to come back home. Come back home. Not missing. And nobody has come for them.
In the aftermath, 7 men were charged with the joint abduction of David. The accused include Aaron Allen, Wayne Barker, Damian Barlow, Dwayne Griffith, Devante Mars, Alpha Poole, and Osafa Peters, known as Sadis. They were granted bail of $500,000 each, but were required to report to the Breakdown Police Station every Friday. Despite extensive searches, including operations in the Buxton Backlands, David's whereabouts remain unknown. His wife, Lisa David, has made emotional pleas for justice, expressing frustration over the slow process of the case and the release of the suspects on bail. She continues to seek closure for herself and their family. The community has shown support through vigils and public demonstrations, calling for justice and the safe return of Joshua David. Stick around when we return. Strike at Bosai Bauxite Mining Company ends following ministry facilitated agreement, and police destroy over $400 million in cannabis, seize illegal firearms in Upper Berbice operation.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment you've been waiting for. Step right up because it's time for Digicel's $12 million Punch and Win. Top up with just $1,000 or more for a shot at winning up to $2 million weekly. That's right, up to $2 million weekly. 6 weeks, $2 million per week. Will you be one of our lucky winners? There's only one way to find out. Top up, punch, and win. Only with Digicel. Digicel, better connected.
See clearly with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services. 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Workers of the Bosai Bauxite Mining Company have agreed to end their strike after intervention by the Ministry of Labor and Manpower Planning. The action followed reports of industrial unrest at the company, prompting the ministry to engage both management and representatives of the National Association of Agricultural, Commercial and Industrial Employees. The meeting, chaired by Chief Labor Officer Danish Wardionarine, brought together representatives from the company and the union to address the concerns that had led to the strike. During discussions, several proposals were considered to resolve the impasse and restore operations. A terms of resumption was signed on September 25th, outlining key agreements between the parties. The union committed to calling off the strike immediately and ensuring all workers return to duty. Both sides agreed that there would be no victimization of workers or management and that the status quo would be maintained. The agreement also scheduled a conciliation meeting at the Ministry of Labor today, where the underlying issues that triggered the strike will be formally addressed. The conciliation process aims to achieve a mutually amicable and fair resolution for all parties involved. In a statement, the Ministry of Labor and Manpower Planning welcomed the cooperative approach taken by both the union and management. The ministry reaffirmed its commitment to fostering a harmonious industrial relations climate and commended the constructive efforts to end the strike and engage in good faith negotiations. The early resolution of the strike is expected to minimize disruptions to operations at Bosai Bauxite Mining Company while providing a platform for ongoing dialogue to address workers' concerns. In other news, ranks from the Ghana Police Force's Narcotics Branch and the Regional Division 6 carried out 2 major eradication exercises in the Upper Berbice River on Sunday, leading to the destruction of more than $409 million worth of cannabis and the seizure of unlicensed firearms and ammunition. The first exercise was conducted at Zion, Upper Berbice River, where police discovered a 2-acre plot of land being prepared for cultivation. A makeshift camp approximately 30 by 20 feet in size was found nearby. The camp contained a living and kitchen area, along with about 350 pounds of dried cannabis. Officers also uncovered a drying area where marijuana was being processed. Both the camp and the cannabis were destroyed by fire. The dried marijuana found at this location carried a value of over $142 million. Later that morning, police launched a second operation at Kalkuni, Upper Berbice River, where they discovered another 2-acre plot containing approximately 3,000 cannabis plants ranging in height from 2 to 7 feet. A second makeshift camp, also measuring 30 by 20 feet, was located near the field. Inside, police found a drying area with about 650 pounds of dried cannabis. Further search of the camp revealed 2 unlicensed 12-gauge shotguns without serial numbers, along with 19 matching cartridges. The firearms and ammunition were seized and transported to the narcotics branch for analysis. Dried cannabis and cultivated plants were destroyed on site by fire. The total value of narcotics destroyed in this exercise was over $266 million. Combined, the 2 operations resulted in the destruction of narcotics valued at over $409 million, marking a significant blow to the illegal drug trade in the region. Authorities have since urged residents to continue sharing information on illegal activities, stressing that collaborative efforts are essential in the fight against narcotics cultivation and trafficking. Don't go away after the break. Peru's Gen Z protesters rally against corruption, crime, and pension reforms. And Ethiopia launches global contest to save Lalibela's ancient churches.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment you've been waiting for. Step right up because it's time for Digicel's $12 million punch and win. Top up with just $1,000 or more for a shot at winning up to $2 million weekly. That's right, up to $2 million weekly. 6 weeks, $2 million per week. Will you be one of our lucky winners? There's only one way to find out. Top up, punch, and win. Only with Digicel. Digicel, better connected.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from modern optical services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley told the UN General Assembly that small states' survival depend on a rules-based international system. She condemned disinformation, urged peace in Ukraine, Gaza, and Sudan, and called for urgent climate action, $1.3 trillion in green financing, and UN Security Council reform. Meanwhile, in South America, hundreds of young protesters have been fighting with police in Peru's capital, Lima, for a third consecutive day. They're angry at President Dina Boluarte's government amid rising crime, corruption, and a pension fund reform. Al Jazeera's Mariana Sanchez reports.
They tore down the gates protecting Congress and marched under one voice. Drivers, university students, demonstrators joined a new collective who they say belong to Generation Z, young protesters who don't identify with any political party or idea. They say they want to live in peace and dignity.
We're here because of the corruption and injustices perpetrated by Congress and the government, supported by police and politicians. There's no one to bring justice.
They want the government to back down from a pension fund reform that forces everyone under the age of 18 to join a pension provider. And they say the government is not doing enough to fight crime. More than 5,000 Peruvians have been killed in violent crimes during Dina Boluarte's presidency. And police say there have been more than 15,000 extortion cases in the last 6 months.
I'm fed up with the extortions. A bus driver from a route I use was killed. I'm deeply saddened by his death. There's really a lot of crime.
Protesters say they're frustrated with corruption by politicians and government officials, as well as members of the judiciary.
We are all disappointed with this government. What's left for us? Go out and march. It's good that young people have reacted now because they have no future with this government.
Boluarte herself is facing investigation for corruption and her alleged role in the deaths of demonstrators.
When Dina Boluarte took office, the army and police killed 49 Peruvians. That triggered a long period of silence. People afraid of repression preferred to stay indoors. But the increasing frustrations now have unleashed this wave of anger.
A recent opinion poll says Boluarte has less than 4% approval, one of the world's most unpopular presidents. However, she says her government is fighting crime and says protesters are violent and must learn to respect the law to live in peace. Protesters warn politicians to listen to their demands. Nearly 7 million Peruvians under the age of 29 will vote in the general elections scheduled for April next year. That's nearly 1/4 of the adult population. A voice from the streets that will be heard at the ballot box. Mariana Sanchez, Al Jazeera, Lima.
At least 39 people have been killed and more than 50 injured following a crush at a political rally held by Tamil actor Vijay, who is campaigning for election, state officials in India said. Al Jazeera's Perry Wilton reports.
This is what star power looks like. Tens of thousands clambering to hear the words of actor and politician Vijay speaking at a rally in southern India. Vijay, a successful actor who goes by only one name, launched a political party last year. He began campaigning this month ahead of state elections which are set to be held in early 2026, a key piece of the world's largest democracy. But what began as celebration did not end that way. With nowhere to go but towards the campaign bus, the crush meant people not only ran out of room to escape, there was barely enough space to breathe. By the time the rally stopped,
Police sir, please help sir.
It was too late. Ambulances couldn't get through, limp bodies instead carried out by hand and then by stretcher. The local hospital was overwhelmed as traffic made up entirely of ambulances queued outside. And inside, tragedy. Children are among the dozens dead on a night which Vijay has since called unbearable and indescribably painful.
My brother's 2 children were there, 2 boys. The oldest one passed away, the younger one is missing. My relative, my sister-in-law, is in the ICU. What should I do? The child has lost their eye.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi, too, has wished the victims' families strength. Already, questions are being asked about crowd management at this event, where packed streets have left behind empty homes. Perry Wilton, Al Jazeera.
Finally, the ancient rock-hewn churches of Lalibela in Ethiopia are deteriorating after centuries of heavy rain. An international architecture competition will be launched to design a solution that blends with the landscape. Al Jazeera's Bernard Smith reports.
In Lalibela, the faith is as strong as it was more than 900 years ago when these churches were carved out of solid rock. But the buildings are weakening. Torrential storms during the long rainy season take a heavy toll.
It's affected by human. You can see the holes.
Previous attempts to protect them have had mixed results. 5 of the 11 churches have these canopies.
Rainy season, the water.
They were supposed to be temporary, but have cast an ugly shadow over this World Heritage Site for 17 years.
Most of the structure of the churches is gone. And most of the rock is over. We can see drop of rock every year when it's rainy season, and we can see the weight from the inside. Even the crack, like 10-15 years ago, was not like today. The crack in every year is going to be wider and wider.
Appropriately with the tunnel or on a couple of the other roofs, the protection is rudimentary. The churches were commissioned by King Lalibela in the 12th century. The faithful believe he had a divine vision to build a new Jerusalem so pilgrims didn't have to leave Africa. After years of feasibility surveys, Ethiopian government specialists and the UN Cultural and Scientific Organization, UNESCO, agreed that they should be covered by one giant canopy.
The challenge now is what is that canopy going to be made of and how is it going to be built? It must blend in with the surroundings and, of course, not damage the churches. An international architecture competition will be launched next year to try and find the right solution.
It will be a complex, costly project that will have to abide by strict preservation guidelines. The roof of Emmanuel Church was almost completely eroded by the time the canopy went up.
The church must be preserved. If our country is at peace, we have a responsibility to maintain it, as we inherited it from our ancestors, and we must pass on this heritage to the next generation.
That next generation is already being introduced to the ancient rituals of Lalibela. In his lifetime, these churches should hopefully be preserved for future millennia. Bernard Smith, Al Jazeera, Lalibela, Ethiopia.
This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's it to V2 Headline News for this Monday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.